The renovation crew wasn't supposed to find anything. They were just updating the wiring in the upstairs master bedroom, Elvis Presley's private sanctuary that had been sealed since his death in 1907. 20 years untouched, 20 years frozen in time. The electrician, a man named James Crawford, was working behind the wall panel near the walk-in closet when his drill hit something that wasn't drywall, something solid, wood. He pulled back the panel completely and found it, a false wall, and behind that wall, a small, hidden space, maybe 4 feet wide and 6 feet deep. Inside that space was a cardboard box, and inside that box were notebooks, dozens of them, spiral-bound, drugstore variety notebooks with Elvis's handwriting filling every page. Over 200 pages of private thoughts, confessions, fears, depression, written in the years between 1974 and 1977, hidden away where no one would find them. Not Priscilla, not Lisa Marie, not the Memphis Mafia, not his father Vernon. These were the thoughts Elvis Presley couldn't say out loud, the thoughts he couldn't share with anyone, the thoughts he had to write down and hide away because they revealed a truth that would have destroyed the illusion the world needed to believe, that the king was broken, that the man who had everything wanted nothing more than to disappear, that behind the jumpsuits and the sold-out shows and the legend, there was just a lonely, exhausted man who'd forgotten how to be human. The notebooks were sealed by the Presley estate for years. Legal battles, family disagreements, concerns about Elvis's image. But in 2019, portions were finally released to researchers, and what they revealed was more devastating than anyone imagined. This is the story of what Elvis Presley wrote in the dark, the story nobody was supposed to read. To understand why Elvis was writing those notes in secret, you have to understand what happened between 1956 and 1974. In 1956, Elvis Presley was 21 years old and became the biggest star on the planet. Heartbreak Hotel, Hound Dog, Don't Be Cruel. He wasn't just a singer, he was a cultural earthquake. The voice, the looks, the hips, the danger. He changed everything. By 1957, he'd made his first million. By 1958, he was drafted into the army. By 1960, he was making movies. By 1968, his comeback special revitalized his career. By 1970, he was selling out arenas in Las Vegas. Elvis Presley was the king, and everyone treated him like royalty. But being treated like a king meant something different than people thought. It meant being isolated, protected, surrounded by people who said yes to everything, people whose livelihoods depended on keeping Elvis happy, which meant never telling him no, never challenging him, never suggesting he slow down, take a break, or address the growing problems everyone could see, but nobody would mention. His marriage to Priscilla fell apart in 1972. She'd met him when she was 14, married him when she was 21, and left him when she was 27. She'd grown up. He'd stayed frozen in 1956. They had one daughter, Lisa Marie, born in 1968. Elvis loved her fiercely, but he was barely present in her life, always touring, always performing, always surrounded by an entourage that kept him at the center of everything, while simultaneously keeping him disconnected from reality. By 1973, Elvis's health was deteriorating. Years of prescription drug abuse, not street drugs, but pills prescribed by doctors, legitimized by medical authority, uppers to perform, downers to sleep, painkillers for chronic pain from years of wild stage performances, pills for everything. He'd gained weight. His face was puffy. His movements on stage were slower. The voice was still there. When he wanted to use it, Elvis could still sing like no one else. But the spark was dimming. Colonel Tom Parker, his manager since 1955, kept him on a brutal schedule. 2 shows a night in Vegas, touring constantly, recording sessions, television specials. The money machine couldn't stop. And Elvis was exhausted, soul-deep exhausted. The kind of tired that sleep couldn't fix. He was 39 years old in 1974, and he felt ancient. That's when he started writing the notebooks. James Crawford, the electrician who found the hidden compartment, described the moment in a 2019 interview. I pulled back that panel and saw the space behind it. At first, I thought maybe it was just empty space, bad construction. But then I saw the box. It was just a regular cardboard box, the kind you'd store old files in. It was dusty, sitting there for 20 years. I called my supervisor. He came up, looked at it, and said, "We better call the estate lawyers." Nobody touched the box for 3 days. Lawyers came. Graceland administrators came. Finally, Priscilla Presley herself came to open it. I wasn't there when they opened it, but I heard later that when Priscilla saw what was inside, all those notebooks in Elvis's handwriting, she sat down on the floor and cried. The notebooks were removed from Graceland and taken to a secure location. For 2 years, only a handful of people knew they existed. Priscilla, Lisa Marie, a few estate attorneys. The family debated what to do. These were private writings. Elvis had hidden them. He'd never intended for anyone to read them. Did they have a right to make them public? But they were also historical documents, evidence of Elvis's mental state in his final years, potentially valuable for understanding what really happened. In 1999, a decision was made. The notebooks would be preserved in the Graceland archives. Scholars could access them with permission, but they wouldn't be published or displayed publicly. That policy held until 2019, when portions were released for a documentary about Elvis's final years. The excerpts were carefully selected. The most personal, most painful passages were kept sealed, but even the released portions were devastating. A handwriting expert confirmed the notebooks were authentic. Elvis's distinctive handwriting throughout. The dates ranged from January 1974 to June 1977, just 2 months before his death. Over 200 pages. Some entries were just a few lines. Others went on for pages, written late at night, early in the morning, whenever Elvis found himself alone and the thoughts became too heavy to carry silently. Dr. Peter Whitmer, a psychologist who analyzed the notebooks in 2019, described them. These are the writings of someone in profound psychological distress, depression, anxiety, existential crisis. Elvis was grappling with questions of identity, purpose, and mortality. What's striking is how articulate he is. We think of Elvis as the charismatic performer, but here he's reflective, philosophical, brutally honest with himself. He was aware of his decline, aware of his addiction, aware that he was trapped in a life that was destroying him, and he felt powerless to change it. The notebooks were divided into several types of entries. 1. Late-night reflections. 2. Memories of his mother Gladys. 3. Fears about his health and aging. 4. Guilt about Lisa Marie. 5. Anger at Colonel Parker and the entertainment industry. 6. Existential questions about fame and identity. Here are excerpts from the released portions. January 15th, 1974, 3:30 a.m. Can't sleep again. Pills aren't working like they used to. Or maybe they're working too well, and I can't tell the difference between sleeping and being awake anymore. I look in the mirror and I don't recognize myself. That's not the guy who sang on Ed Sullivan. That's not the guy who made girls scream. That's not even Elvis Presley. That's just a fat man in a jumpsuit playing Elvis Presley. How did this happen? When did I stop being real? March 2nd, 1974, 2:15 a.m. Lisa Marie was here today. She's 6 years old. 6. And I barely know her. She looks at me like I'm a stranger. She's supposed to love because people tell her to. I wanted to be a good father. I wanted to be there for her, like Daddy was there for me. But I'm never there. I'm always somewhere else. Vegas. On the road. In this bedroom taking pills so I can function enough to do another show. What kind of father is that? What kind of man? May 20th, 1974, 4 o'clock a.m. Mama's been gone since 1958, 16 years, and I still think about her every day, still hear her voice. Elvis, baby, don't forget where you came from. But Mama, I don't even know where I am now. How can I remember where I came from? You died when I was 23. You never saw what I became. Maybe that's good. Maybe you'd be ashamed of this. July 8th, 1974. Colonel called today. Wants me to extend the Vegas run. 2 more weeks. I said I'm tired. He said, Elvis, you can rest when you're dead. I almost laughed. Because that's probably true. The only way I'm getting off this wheel is in a coffin. Sometimes I think about what would happen if I just stopped, just walked away, retired, lived quiet. But I can't. Because I'm not a person anymore. I'm a brand. I'm an industry. Hundreds of people depend on my paycheck. And if I stop, they all lose their jobs. So I keep going, keep performing, keep pretending this is still fun. September 30th, 1974. Did a show tonight in Chicago. Can't remember most of it. I was so loaded on pills I was on autopilot. The guys in the band covered for me when I forgot lyrics. The audience didn't notice, or maybe they did, and they were too polite to say anything. I used to love performing, used to live for that moment when the crowd would go crazy, used to feel like I was giving them something special. Now, it feels like I'm stealing from them, taking their money, their time, their love, and giving them a shell, a performance of a performance. I'm a fraud. November 12th, 1974, 45 a.m. Sometimes I think about what my life would have been if I hadn't made it, if I'd stayed in Memphis, worked a regular job, married a regular girl, had a regular life. Would I have been happier? Probably. Definitely. But then I wouldn't be Elvis Presley. And if I'm not Elvis Presley, who am I? That's the problem. I don't know how to be anything else. This is all I've been since I was 21. For 18 years, I've been Elvis. And I don't know if there's anything underneath that. If there's a real person in here, or just the character I've been playing for 2 decades. I'm scared to find out. December 25th, 1974, Christmas Day. Spent Christmas at Graceland. Big party. Everyone having a good time. Me sitting in the middle of it, feeling completely alone. I gave everyone expensive gifts. Cars, jewelry, money. Because that's what Elvis does. Gives things away. Proves he's generous. Proves he cares. But I don't think anyone here actually knows me. They know Elvis. They love Elvis. They depend on Elvis. But me, the guy writing this, I don't think anyone would care about him. The entries from 1975-1976 showed Elvis's mental state deteriorating further. His drug use increased. His weight fluctuated wildly. His performances became more erratic. February 10th, 1975, 3:00 a.m. I think I'm dying. Not dramatically, not suddenly, just slowly, bit by bit. The pills are killing me. I know that. Everyone knows that, but I can't stop. I've tried. God knows I've tried. But when I stop taking them, I can't function, can't sleep, can't perform, can't exist. So I take more, and then I need more, and the cycle continues. Dr. Nick gives me whatever I ask for. He says he's trying to manage it, keep me functional. But we both know what he's really doing. He's keeping me alive, just long enough to do the next show. How many more shows do I have in me? How many more years? June 1st, 1975. Watched some old footage from the '68 comeback special today. That was only 7 years ago. 7 years. But I look at that guy on the screen, and I don't recognize him. He was confident, healthy, alive. He still believed in something. Now, I'm a joke, a parody, fat Elvis in a jumpsuit, barely able to remember the words to his own songs. People come to my shows now for the wrong reasons. They come to see if I'll collapse on stage. They come to see how bad it's gotten. They come to say they saw Elvis at the end, and they're getting their money's worth. August 16th, 1975, exactly 2 years before his death. Today is August 16th, 1975. I'm 40 years old, middle-aged, and I feel like I'm 80. My body doesn't work right anymore. Everything hurts. My heart, my stomach, my back, my head. Just constant pain. All day. Every day. The pills help. Until they don't. Then I take more. I think about dying a lot. Not in a suicidal way, just thinking about it. What it would be like. What people would say. Would they remember me for the music or for the way I ended. Probably the latter. I'm going to die soon. I can feel it. Something in my body is breaking down, and I don't think there's any way to stop it. January 8th, 1976. His 41st birthday. 41 years old today. Spent most of it in bed. Too tired to do anything else. They threw me a party downstairs. I could hear everyone celebrating me, celebrating Elvis's birthday. But I couldn't go down, couldn't put on the face, couldn't be Elvis today. So I stayed up here, alone, writing this, thinking about how I've wasted my life. Not the career. The career was fine, great, even. But the life, the actual living part, I wasted that. I never learned how to be happy, never figured out how to just be. I was always performing, always being Elvis. And now, I don't know how to stop. May 29th, 1976, 3:45 a.m. I had a dream about Mama tonight. She was young, like she was before she got sick. She was smiling at me, and she said, "Come home, baby. It's time to come home." I woke up crying. I haven't cried in years. Didn't think I could anymore. But I cried tonight. For Mama, for myself, for everything I've lost. Maybe she's right. Maybe it is time to come home. The last entries in the notebooks were dated June and early July 1977. Elvis died August 16th, 1977. The final entries showed a man who'd made peace with his end, not in a healthy way, but in an exhausted, resigned way. June 10th, 1977. Tour starts next week. 40-some shows, 2 months on the road. I don't know if I can do it, but I'll do it anyway, because that's what I do. That's all I know how to do. Colonel says this could be my biggest tour yet, biggest grossing. He's excited, sees dollar signs. I see a countdown, 40 more performances. Then what? Then 40 more? Then 40 more? Until I drop dead on stage? Is that how this ends? Maybe that's the best way. Go out performing. Give them one last show. Better than dying alone in a bedroom. June 26, 1977. His final tour had begun. Indianapolis tonight. Forgot half the songs. Forgot where I was at one point. Just stopped mid-song and stared at the crowd. They still clapped, still cheered, because I'm Elvis, and they'll love me no matter what. But I'm not Elvis anymore. I'm a memory, a ghost, a shell, and I'm so tired of pretending. July 5th, 1977, the last dated entry. If someone finds these notebooks, I want them to know I didn't mean for things to end this way. I didn't want to become this person. I tried. I really tried to be good, to be the person everyone wanted me to be. But somewhere along the way, I got lost, and I couldn't find my way back. Tell Lisa Marie I loved her. Tell her I'm sorry. I wasn't the father she deserved. Tell everyone. Tell them Elvis did his best, even when his best wasn't good enough. I think I'm ready now, ready to rest, ready to stop. Mama, I'm coming home. Elvis Presley died on August 16th, 1977, in the bathroom at Graceland. He was 42 years old. The official cause of death was cardiac arrhythmia, though the underlying cause was years of prescription drug abuse. He never wrote another entry after July 5th. The notebooks remained hidden behind that false wall for 20 years. When portions were finally released in 2019, the reaction was mixed. Some people felt it was an invasion of privacy. Elvis had hidden these thoughts for a reason. He never intended for them to be public. Others argued they were important historical documents. They showed the real cost of fame, the real Elvis, not the myth, but the man. Lisa Marie Presley, who was 9 when her father died, spoke about the notebooks in a 2020 interview. Reading them broke my heart, because he knew. He knew he was dying. He knew he was trapped, and he felt helpless to change it. But what's even sadder is that he hid it. He couldn't tell anyone, couldn't reach out for real help, because Elvis Presley wasn't allowed to be weak, wasn't allowed to be human. So he wrote it down and hid it away, and then he died. I wish he'd told someone. I wish he'd asked for help. I wish he'd known that we would have loved him anyway, that he didn't have to keep being Elvis every second of every day. But he didn't know that. Or maybe he did know, but he couldn't believe it. The notebooks remain in the Graceland archives. Most of them are still sealed. The family released only the portions they felt comfortable sharing. What's in the rest? We may never know. More depression, more despair, or perhaps moments of hope, moments of peace, moments when Elvis found some small comfort. But what we do know from the released portions is this: Elvis Presley died long before August 16th, 1977. The man died years earlier. What remained was just the performance, the show, the obligation, and he kept performing until his body couldn't anymore. The hidden room, the cardboard box, the 200 pages of confessions written in the dark. They were Elvis's way of staying human, of acknowledging that beneath the legend there was still a man, a broken, exhausted, lonely man who just wanted to rest. And 20 years after his death, when those notebooks were finally found, the world discovered what Elvis had been trying to say all along: that fame is a prison, that success is a burden, that being worshipped is the loneliest thing in the world, and that the king died alone, just like everyone else. The only difference was that he knew it was coming. He'd been dying for years, and he documented every moment of his slow collapse in notebooks nobody was meant to find. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking the video and sharing your thoughts in the comments. And if you'd like to hear more stories like this, subscribing to the channel is all it takes.